Well, here we go again. Seems like this is becoming a regular thing. I've received another letter from TV licensing. This one is really short, which is just how I like it. It's short and to the point, and away we go. Dear legal occupier, they still don't know who I am, which I still think is funny because their investigation isn't really very good if they still don't know who the fuck I am. Dear legal occupier, as you have not responded to our letters yet, you have left us no alternative but to proceed with the final stages of our investigation. What the investigation that was already in its final stages like fucking months ago, and then was opened again, and then an officer has been scheduled to visit your property to find out if TV is being watched, recorded, or downloaded illegally. The officer may visit your property any day of the week, morning or evening. Don't put me at a good time. The information below explains the procedure. You may refer to it during a visit from the officer. Yours faithfully, Scott Robson. That's it. That's all. That's, I mean, what a massive waste of paper. That's half the piece of paper, basically. And the rest of it's just like the bullshit information that they're like to add on afterwards, which apparently I can cut off if I want to. Okay. What's the point in that? The bottom part of it says, the typical crap. There's a big circle bit here that says, visit undertaken by our enforcement team, please ask for identification. Well, apparently they're meant to present identification when you open the door, so you really need to ask for it. So, what you need to know about the enforcement process. The enforcement process. We can apply to court for a search warrant to gain access to your property. Well, yeah, that's true, but only if you believe that there is sufficient evidence that can be found, and then that's up to the court if they actually want to give you it or not. And according to a lot of information online, they're not very likely to do that. An officer may interview you under caution in accordance with national criminal law. Now, I believe this is what's referred to as a PACE interview, the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. Uh, but then that's police and criminal evidence, not civil matter, which this is. So I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. Maybe a lawyer or someone like Black Belt Barrister could tell me whether that's actually true. Because I think there's only a small amount of government bodies, other than the police, that can interview a person under caution. And all the information I've found online about who can interview you under caution does not include TV licensing, door-to-door salesmen. Anything you say to the officer may be used as evidence in court. No shit, really? Does that include telling him to fuck off? Does that include explaining your rights? You may have to pay a fine of up to £1,000 plus any legal costs and/or compensation. Yeah, they always threaten you with that one, don't they? If your property needs a TV license, you will still need to buy one. No shit. I never would have thought that if you need a TV license and it's found by the officer at the door that you need a TV license, you might still have to buy one. And then they'll still take you to court anyway, so it doesn't make any fucking difference. And then we've got a little section here, a reminder of the law. A reminder of the law. Yeah. It's against the law to watch or record live TV without a license on any device. You also need a TV license to be covered for everything on BBC iPlayer. For everything on BBC iPlayer. Interesting. Does that include S4C programming, which does not require a license to watch? No, I don't think it does. Once again, lying in your letter. Obviously, there it says you can buy a TV license at the website or call them, or you can let them know that you don't need one. And obviously, if you let them know that you don't need a license, you're guaranteed a visit from one of these pricks anyway. And then, of course, on the back, you've got the typical ways that it tells you of how you can get a TV license, whether you can get a concession or not. If you have sight loss, you can get this information in Braille. Well, if I have sight loss and I need Braille, I can't fucking read this in the first place. So I wouldn't know what number to ring, would I? And apparently, if you really want to, you can get this correspondence in Welsh. Okay. So yes, that was another pointless letter on TV licensing. You know, as the subtitle of this video states or questions, they just don't get it, do they? Um, a lot of people have talked about this, and a lot of people have said probably what I'm about to say, but there are no other services offered within this country um, where you have to tell the service provider that you don't require their services. Yet TV licensing seems to think that if you don't require a TV license, or you don't think you require TV licenses, then you should tell them you don't need one. Why should I tell you I don't need something? Surely I should only tell you if I do need something. I mean, I don't ring up my local shop and say, oh yeah, I'm not coming in today because I don't need to buy anything. I don't ring Sky TV or whoever every year and tell them, oh yeah, just by the way, yeah, I don't need Sky TV at the moment. Yeah. Just thought I'd let you know. So why do you have to do that with TV licensing? Why do they just naturally assume that you are watching TV without a license? Because some of the letters, I don't know whether you've been watching the previous streams and videos of this, or whether you've been watching people like Chile John Carney or Black Belt Barrister when they're talking about TV licensing. Some of the wording on the letters basically, at least, is an implication, and at most is an outright accusation that you are doing something illegal. Now, they don't know whether you are or not. And obviously, unless you let them into your property or tell them, they're not going to know whether you are or not. So how can they get away with sending you a letter saying that basically they think you are? Is that not defamation? And since it's written down, or in this case typed out, is that not libel? And of course, with regards to the letters themselves, you know, I mean, they're repeatedly sent out, right? Which is, and they're unwanted, right? Repeated unwanted contact, that is the definition of harassment, which is a crime. Uh, they are intimidatory and sometimes basically just threatening in nature, both of which are also crimes. Then you've got the defamatory slash libel part of it, which is civil matter, not criminal matter. And you know, I'm surprised that people aren't like trying to do anything about this. Has no one thought of like taking these people to court, whether for the criminal matter or the civil matter? Well, I tell you, I have. I haven't taken them to court. I've been thinking about it, and I've consulted a couple of lawyers, uh, some of which don't deal with civil cases, only legal cases. Right? So I've been looking at ones that will also do civil cases, and been talking to some. And it seems that maybe, just maybe, I might have a valid case for a criminal court procedure with regards to harassment, intimidation, and basically threatening nature of the letters. And I may possibly have a case for the civil matter of defamatory and libelous statements. And also, as part of the civil matter, misrepresentation or providing false information. Because some of the things they say in their letters, as has been pointed out in my previous streams and videos and in other people's, um, some of the wording of the letters is actually incorrect. It is wrong. It is deliberately wrong as part of the scare tactic to make you think you need a license when you probably don't. I'm sure I've had one that said I need a TV license to watch live content on YouTube. Not live TV on YouTube, live content on YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't need a TV license for that. If you're watching this live, which according to my little little indicator at the top now and is. But if you're watching this live and you're in the UK, you don't need a TV license to watch this, because this is not a TV program being broadcast live. This is a private user's YouTube account making a live stream video. There is a difference. So you don't need a TV license to watch live content on YouTube, only to watch live TV on YouTube. And there isn't that much live TV on YouTube that I know of. I've certainly never found any. Then again, I don't usually go looking for it, so it doesn't really matter. I do like how I've been under investigation by the TV licensing for over 2 years now. It's been over 2 years since I stopped paying my license. I've been under investigation for over 2 years. There's been several investigations, because one minute I'll get a letter saying that the investigation is continuing or it's getting into its final stages, and then about 3 or 4 months later I'll get a letter saying we've opened an investigation. I thought, well, what happened to your last one then? Right, but anyway, so I've been under investigation by the TV licensing people for a little over 2 years since I stopped paying my license. They still don't know who I am. They have no clue who lives at my address. Now, this could be partly because their investigations are bullshit, or just a bit crap, or because obviously I've not told them who I am. Not a very good investigation if you have to tell them who you are. Your investigative tactics are not very good. A blind and deaf police officer will probably gather more information. Well, there we go. So that's another letter. And of course, that's implying I'm going to get a visit very soon. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do, if possible, I think you mentioned this on previous videos and live streams about this, is attempt to record that in some way or other, whether it be a video recording or an audio recording. Audio will probably be better because it's less likely to be detected by the visiting officer, the door-to-door salesman. Because obviously, if I'm pointing a camera in his face, obviously he knows I'm recording him. Whereas if I've got an audio recording device, obviously he's probably not going to notice that, or she's probably not going to notice that. They usually send a bloke, don't they? So I might attempt to record that. If it's an audio recording, I might put some kind of pictures so you're not just watching a black screen. And I'm going to point out to the officer, because they wear body cameras now, like the police do, just in case you get a bit threatening or abusive or something like that, and to ensure that they're actually doing their job properly, following the guidelines of TV licensing visits, that says they have to be polite and courteous, and if you ask them to leave, they have to leave, all that sort of stuff. And they wear these body cameras, right? So, and obviously that body camera will be recording, and I'll make sure that body camera is recording. I'll ask if it's recording. If it says yes, I'll say, oh, good. And then I will point out the issues with regards to the letters and the bits that are blatantly wrong. I'll point out the fact that they are harassing, intimidating, and threatening in nature, most of the time, which they are, and that they're implying that the person receiving the letter is committing a crime of watching TV without a license, without any information to say that they may be doing so, which is assuming guilt rather than assuming innocence. In all other aspects of criminal law and civil cases and things like that, you work on the basis of presumed innocence. You are innocent until they prove you are guilty, or you are innocent unless they prove you are guilty, I suppose. Right? Which means they have to provide evidence to prove that you are actually guilty. So to send you a letter basically assuming you are guilty and basically telling you, oh, we assume you're guilty and we're going to find out. No, you're not. Because you have no obligation to let them into your property. You have no obligation to answer their questions. You have no obligation to talk to them whatsoever. You can open the door, they identify who they are, and you can say, you know what, mate, fuck off. And just slam the door in their face, if you Or as Chili John Carney often says, you can go, no thanks, mate, and just close the door. I suppose you can go, well, you can fuck off. You slam the door as hard as you can, I don't know. Or maybe if you really want to be a bit more arsy about it, you can go, get the fuck off my phone. Of course, the other thing that you often see when people upload these videos about TV licensing, especially when they upload the ones where they're recording the visit, right, is the TV licensing people like to have now decided, because obviously they get recorded a lot, right, they've decided that they want to repeat your address as often as they can. You know, is this 5 Spilsby Lane? Well, you should know whether it's 5. Or was it Spilsby Lane? I've just forgot what it was. Was it Spilsby Lane? 5 Spilsby Lane, wasn't it? I just said, yeah. Well, I pulled that out of my arse, I think. Look, they should know whether they're at 5 Spilsby Lane because they were scheduled to visit 5 Spilsby Lane and they've not done a door with number 5 on it on a street called Spilsby Lane. So, repeating the sounding going, is this 5 Spilsby Lane? Bit fucking pointless. But they do that because obviously they know you're recording. If they notice you're recording them, they'll say your address as often as they can so that you won't put it online. What they don't realise is that you can just put that audio out as, before you upload the video. So these people obviously are very intelligent. And in some of the videos that I've seen of these goon visits, they call them goon visits. TV licensing goon visits. Yeah. They often repeatedly try to get your name. Or they'll ask a very stupid question. Do you live here? Well, why else would I be answering the door? If you knock on my door and I answer it, I live here. If you knock on anyone else's door and I answer it, the question is, why am I answering it? I'm obviously not going to answer other people's doors. So the question, do you live here, is a bit fucking pointless. But then again, nobody said these people were intelligent. And a recent piece of information that I found says that over the past year, 500,000 people have cancelled their TV licenses. Now, what I'd like to know, and maybe some of you are watching, if you are one of those 500,000 people, I'm guessing it's probably more than that now, actually. If you are one of these 500,000 people that recently cancelled your TV license over the course of the last year, I'd love to know why. Is it simply that you don't watch TV anymore? Or, do you have some kind of problem with the BBC and TV licensing, and so, you just think, well, if I want to watch TV, I will, and they can pop off with their license? Did you cancel it because you feel that the price is now fucking extortionate, because it's gone up by about 10 quid or something, hasn't it? It's getting ridiculous. I'd love to know. Of course, I wouldn't recommend, if you're going to leave a comment about it, I wouldn't recommend putting that, you do still watch TV and just don't pay for it because you never know who's watching. You might get yourself into serious trouble. Well, it would be interesting to know why 500,000 people have cancelled their TV licenses. And of course, as I've said, I haven't had a TV license for over 2 years. And I keep getting these letters. And they all say, oh yeah, you can tell us you don't need a license. I don't need to tell you I don't need a license. You should just assume that because I don't have one, I don't need one. You should not be assuming that because I don't have one, I'm doing something illegal. So I'll clarify this for any TV licensing people that might be watching, even though you don't know who I am or where I live. I don't have a TV license. I haven't had a TV license for over 2 years. Maybe that can tell you in your system who I might be or where I might live. Right? Now, why have I not had a TV license for over 2 years? Well, that's because I don't and can't watch TV. The aerial on my roof no longer works, and I am not going to pay to have it fixed or replaced because I don't really miss watching TV because there's nothing really on that I want to watch anymore. Any programs that I used to watch are now crap, and a lot of other programs are just something I wouldn't watch anyway. And all I really used to watch on TV before I cancelled my license, before I was unable to watch TV and all that sort of stuff, was Dave, which basically just shows repeats from like other TV channels. Well, it has some original programming like I don't know, Storage Hunters, stuff like that, I suppose. But mostly it was like repeats of like QI from BBC from like 1997 or something like that. Very old episodes of Mock the Week. Very old episodes. Yeah. So I didn't really watch that much anyway. So when my aerial stopped working, I just thought, well fuck it then. Not much point. And it was a month or two later that I cancelled my TV license because I didn't realise I was still paying it until I paid for it. And I checked my bank statement and I was like, oh, I'm still paying for a TV license. Right, cancel that. It's an unnecessary expense for me, wasn't it? Now, of course, I still have a television. You don't need a license to own a television. It's not a TV license as such, it's a TV license. It's an incorrect terminology because a TV license sounds more like it's a license to have a TV rather than a license to watch TV. I still have a TV. I use that for my Xbox, for my various other games consoles. I have several. I use it to watch DVDs. I even use it to watch videos. I've still got some videos. I don't use it for any other purposes. And I certainly don't use it for the purposes that would require me to have a TV license. So now you can see why I don't pay my TV license and why I haven't paid it for 2 years. Now, am I committing a crime? No, I am not. So why am I receiving letters that are basically implying that I am? That's not right. That is defamation. And because it's written down, that is libel. And I will continue to work on these cases. And I will continue to collect these letters that they keep sending me. And I will do what I can to make a couple of cases out of this. And if I manage to, and whatever the result is, I will share that with you. But at the moment, I'm just waiting for the TV licensing goon, the door-to-door salesman, the enforcement officer. Enforcement officer. You just stick the word law on the front of that and you're impersonating the police. And that's definitely a crime. Try to interview me under caution, mate. You'll find out what happens. I'm waiting for the visit from the door-to-door salesman now. And it's going to be a very interesting conversation, and certain things are going to be said that will be listened to, absolutely will be listened to, and they will be followed to the letter. To the letter. They will follow to the letter. And it's going to be interesting. And as I say, if I can record that, I'll upload it. And apparently I can expect a visit even sooner now than my last live stream or video about this, because I said I could expect a visit soon. Right? I'm guessing I can expect it even sooner now. They must be starting to get a bit annoyed to start sending me shorter letters. That letter was pointless, wasn't it? Then again, possibly so is this video, but live stream, whatever. And it could be interesting when they arrive, I'm expecting them within, like, I don't know, next couple of weeks. And I know I'll get the standard questions, do you live in Is this such and such address? Well, you tell me, mate. You knocked on the fucking door. And I'll get asked all the stupid questions, and then I'll probably get the request. Can I come inside and check? No, you can't. And if you attempt to do so, I will exercise my legal right to subdue you or eject you from my property using reasonable force, which you do have a legal right to do, by the way, especially if they refuse to leave when you tell them to, which apparently sometimes they actually do. Although I'm guessing that they don't really do that so much now. Now they have to wear these cameras that record everything. So, if that clearly picked up the fact that you've asked them to leave and they don't leave, well, then they're already in trouble with their bosses, aren't they? Uh, and that's regardless of what you do to them if they refuse to leave. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I hope they come soon. I really do. Really, really, really do hope they come soon. But as ever, I will keep you updated, and obviously stay tuned for more videos coming from me, and live streams or whatever they may be. And if you do cancel your TV license at any point, please make sure you're not doing anything illegal. Or I suppose if you are, make sure no one knows about it, because you can get in trouble. And you may have to pay a fine of up to £1,000. Fucking ridiculous. It's all a scare tactic. Like the fucking detector vans, which don't actually detect anything really. Basically just detects that you have a TV. It doesn't detect that you're actually watching anything. Not like that advert from the 70s or whatever it was. It's like, yeah, the television in the living room and they're watching EastEnders. No. It's absolute bullcrap. Just it's all a matter of scare tactics. All it is. If they have any of these so-called detector vans, which most people don't believe they do, and a lot of people have said they don't, and no one's ever seen one. Uh, if they really do have these detector vans, I'd love to know exactly how they work. But I bet it's not telling you whether I'm watching BBC News at 10 o'clock at night. Well, I can tell you whether I'm watching BBC News at 10 o'clock at night. Even if I could watch TV as someone was watching BBC News any day, any time of the day when it's on. So I could give the answer to that one. The Biased Broadcasting Corporation, the British bullshit company,